here.
Right here in our factory in Glasgow, we've been designing and making disruptive, market-leading hi-fi products for almost 5 decades. From the LP12 to the CD12 to Climax DS, Linn has a proud history of setting new standards in audio source products. Today promises to be another proud and special moment as we reveal our next landmark innovation on our journey towards musical perfection. It's been over 13 years since we launched the original Climax DS. And at that time, if we wind back to 2007, streaming was not an accepted hi-fi product format. Linn was the first, really, to introduce a high-end streaming player at a time when streaming was associated mainly with MP3, low quality, portability and convenience. To make that transition into streaming easier for our customers, we put the original Climax DS into the existing Climax chassis, gave it a familiar look, and made it possible to fit it easily into our customers' existing systems. But my, how things have changed in that intervening period. Streaming is now an accepted hi-fi format. There are lots of high-end streamers on the market. And in the intervening 13 years, Linn has evolved dramatically with investment in people, skills, technology, manufacturing capability. And so what we're capable of today with a high-end streaming product is way beyond what we achieved in 2007. And what we're launching today will shock and surprise and delight in the way that Climax DS did back in 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce to you our next generation, brand new Climax DSM. Climax DSM is our best yet. It's the ultimate streamer. Every element of new Climax DSM is designed from the ground up here at Linn, applying decades of digital technology, learnings and expertise. On the outside, an all-new precision machined enclosure design, providing vital acoustic isolation, along with a new level of visual and tactile luxury. And on the inside, the beating heart of new Climax DSM is our groundbreaking first ever all-Linn DAC, which we call organic. Next generation Climax DSM is the closest thing to audio perfection on the market.
Hello, my name's Joe Roger. I'm one of the product trainers here at Linn, and today I'll be your guide. Together, we'll go on a journey through Linn, and I'll share with you the incredible story behind new Climax DSM. Linn has always been at the leading edge of music reproduction. We pioneered streaming back in 2007 as the first company to create a high-end network music player, Climax DS. With it, we brought our extensive experience of designing and manufacturing products that deliver exceptional musical performance, together with our unique understanding of the entire musical process, from artist's microphone to your ear. An understanding gained thanks to our decades-long experience in producing our own studio recordings at Linn Records. Next generation Climax DSM will get you closer to the music than you thought possible, with the new organic DAC providing our most natural sound ever. Every minute detail of Climax DSM has been carefully considered with music in mind. From its exquisite design to its final build here on the factory floor, this all-new streamer is held to our exacting and yes, extreme standards, using the highest quality materials and the most precise processes. We've taken a no-holds-barred approach with Climax DSM in every single element, inside and out, to create the ultimate streamer. Let's now hear from product design lead Adrian Chung. New Climax DSM features an exquisite, precision-engineered, all-new enclosure. So Adrian, could you talk us through the product in a little more detail, please?
Yes, I'd love to. With Climax DSM, every design decision was taken with music in mind. Both inside and out, we've applied our signature attention to detail to ensure the utmost protection of the electronics, ensuring that every last bit of audio performance is delivered intact. Bringing such a detailed design to life relies on the close working relationship we have between our engineering and manufacturing disciplines. Add to that our latest investments in advanced 5-axis CNC machining technology, and we now have complete control over the whole process, enabling us to achieve unprecedented levels of precision and accuracy, machining to the tightest of tolerances. The enclosure is machined from solid, special-grade aluminium. The sheer mass of the product, coupled with internal damping, protects the electronic components from vibrations in the room. Precision cut pockets and partitions separate the analog, digital, and power stages, better protecting the audio signal from interference. This robust isolation cradles the beating heart of Climax DSM, Organic DAC, the first ever all-Linn digital to analog converter. I think we'll be covering that in more detail a bit later on. The surface of the unit pays homage to its Climax forebearers. The signature Linn smile has been reimagined through a series of diamond-cut circles that echo the grooves of a record, also a nod to the vinyl that our legendary LP12 plays so beautifully. This dynamic surface responds to its environment with light dancing across the surface. Just ahead of this lies the dial, a thing of beauty in its own right. Now, the dial is a badge of pride, a visible reflection of the attention to detail and incredible engineering that lies inside this extraordinary enclosure. The turned brass bearing celebrates its provenance whilst providing the smooth handling of the precision-cut glass, and an intricate photo-etched stainless steel surround encases each of the 100 status lights. An array of customizable stainless steel smart buttons provide instant access to music, and in combination with the dial, restore that tactile connection between the listener and their music that's been lost in the digital age. And on the front of the product, a panoramic display acts like a mirror, clearly displaying key information when active, but becoming essentially invisible and unobtrusive when not in use.
Thank you, Adrian. It's fantastic to hear from you firsthand precisely what makes new Climax DSM's enclosure so special. So much learned, and yet we're only halfway through the story. Let's have a chat now with Gilad and Phil Budd, Senior Design Engineer, to hear about the new Organic DAC in more detail. So, Gilad, it is my great pleasure to hand over to you first.
Thanks, Joe. It's our decades of developing digital technology expertise that have led to the development of Organic DAC. Now, we have a rich history in high-performance DAC innovation that goes back way before the idea of music streaming ever came around. Numeric, our first DAC, was 1991, and actually the studio version of it was used in the mastering of the Peter Gabriel album, Us. Then we moved on to the Sondex CD12, which was the next evolution of our DAC. And then with Climax DS, we evolved again, that was 2007, until we got to Catalyst in 2016, which gave us digital to analog conversion with greater precision than we'd ever had before. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce our next generation DAC. It's a momentous achievement for Linn. It's our first ever all-Linn homegrown DAC called Organic, and it makes the new Climax DSM our most natural sounding product ever.
That's great. Thanks, Gilad. So now, Phil, it's over to you. Could you please tell us a little bit about how Organic actually came to be?
Indeed, thanks, Joe. So until now, we've engineered the best possible results from specially selected third-party DAC chips. Back in 1998, when we designed the CD12, we pushed the envelope of what was achievable from a third-party DAC by specifying a separate upsampling chip before the DAC to improve performance. This technology was evolved, and a similar configuration went into the original Climax DS back in 2007. Since then, we've seen more evolutionary steps to the DAC architecture, and the apex of that evolution was really the Catalyst DAC. We knew that to go beyond these steps, we had to separate the conversion stage from the confines of a chip, and this realization signaled the birth of organic. Organic goes beyond evolution of a DAC. It's more like a new species.
So this is a definite first for us at Linn then?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely yes. Organic DAC is the first ever all-Linn digital to analog converter. Every component has been selected, designed and laid out by a Linn engineer and populated on a Linn circuit board here in our factory. Now, let's expand on that a little bit. We have decades of experience in both analog and digital design, and it's that experience that informs the selection of components and the design of the circuit. We also have decades of experience in optimizing circuit board layout for exceptional audio performance. In the last 15-20 years, we've developed a huge specialism in high-speed digital electronics, and that's a skill set that's been essential to the creation of organic. Finally, when we talk about population of a circuit board here at Linn, we're talking about techniques that we've refined for the production of the highest level of audio products. We can surface mount the smallest of components, leading to shorter signal paths, and we use cutting-edge vapor phase ovens to ensure zero oxidization of the soldered contacts on our boards. And it's the combination of these engineering disciplines that leads to better audio performance. And these disciplines have been used to the full in the creation of our new organic DAC.
So could you go into a little bit more detail about this groundbreaking all-Linn design?
Yes. So with organic DAC, Linn handles every aspect of the digital to analog conversion process. We've designed the entire DAC from first principles, from our own FPGA-based processing stage through into the analog domain with a unique discrete conversion stage. The powerful FPGA processing stage uses custom design algorithms to provide increased upsampling, more precise volume control, and distortion-free modulation. Partnered with that, we have a discrete conversion stage which renders the analog signal with extremely low levels of distortion. And that's thanks to a new ultra-low jitter oscillator and a carefully designed clock distribution network. These two things are then cleverly combined in a unique double-sided design which helps us to minimize the signal paths. The two sections of the organic DAC are designed to work together in perfect harmony. We've precisely controlled and we have relentlessly optimized the circuits for exceptional audio performance. Organic offers significantly lower noise and distortion, measuring better than anything we've achieved before. In fact, our distortion figures are a full 20 dB below what we achieved with Catalyst.
That's astonishing, because Catalyst was as close to the floor as you could get, you know?
Yeah, we've driven the noise floor into the basement now.
Perfect, that's exceptional. So now, Gilad, would you care to share with us if and when this latest innovation will become available in other products throughout our range?
Certainly. So organic DAC is of course available in all variants of Climax DSM, but will very quickly be rolled out and available in the Climax Exact Box as an upgrade, and also as an upgrade for the Climax 350 loudspeaker. So that means every Climax Linn customer out there is going to be able to access the benefits of organic very, very soon.
That's excellent. That's excellent and exciting news for our most invested customers. So now let's head back into the factory and return to Climax DSM itself. So now we have a better understanding of each of the separate ingredients. How do they all come together to make new Climax DSM? My colleague, Gordon Inch, who's also a member of the Linn training team, is here to share more. Gordon.
Thank you, Joe. Every Linn product is hand-built by a highly skilled engineer. They take all the elements, make sure they're perfect before building them into the finished product. We call this process single stage build, and it ensures that there's always someone here at Linn taking responsibility for every product. So much so that they sign their name to it. Every Climax DSM is signed with pride by the person who built it. And make no mistake, our engineers are difficult to please. They'll never sign off on a product that isn't perfect. As you can see, the signed foot aligns perfectly with the dial, creating a direct connection between the maker and the user that's so important to us here at Linn.
Now, let's find out more about technical specifications and connectivity options. There are two variants of Climax DSM, plus a new Climax System Hub. Gordon, could you break these down for us, please?
Of course. Firstly, it's important to note that all streaming and connected sources, analog, digital and wireless, across both Climax DSM variants, will benefit from our all-new organic DAC. So with that in mind, let's meet Climax DSM audio variant, adding 24-bit 384 kHz streaming and DSD256 as supported audio formats, for the very best performance from all streaming sources and stored music collections. We have 3 pairs of analog inputs, 1 XLR and 2 RCA phono, to connect an array of analog music sources. And these will also benefit from the new higher performance, lower distortion ADC, which has its own circuit board and dedicated power supply. The new ADC also benefits from the isolation of electronics provided by the enclosure itself. Below the analog inputs sit the digital inputs, which are populated on a dedicated board in the lower half of the product and are separated internally by a metal partition to protect the analog components and the organic DAC from any interference. Going from right to left, 2 exact link ports enable connection directly to LP12 via Eureka 2. Then we have 3 digital inputs, 1 Toslink and 2 SP-Diff, one of which is configurable as either an input or an output, providing even more flexibility for the connection of sources. A new USB audio class 2 or Type B input enables connection directly to a computer to create the ultimate performance standalone DAC. An optical Ethernet port provides complete isolation between Climax DSM and the network, eradicating the possibility of noise. Finally, with wireless connectivity, customers can also enjoy convenient connection of sources via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. In terms of outputs, we have a pair of balanced XLR and a pair of RCA phono. Both sets can be used simultaneously, with each retaining full performance. Next, we have Climax Dsm Av variant. This option has all the same connectivity that I've just mentioned, but in addition offers HDMI functionality for connection of AV sources, which also benefit from organic DAC. So you can see the HDMI connections are located on the lower half of the product on their own dedicated circuit board, separated by that internal partition that we talked about. We have 4 HDMI inputs and 1 HDMI output, which also offers eARC support for smart TVs, ensuring that optimal audio is selected automatically. The AV variant can also be expanded from 2-channel stereo to up to 7.1 surround sound, with the addition of our surround sound processing upgrade module. And finally, we have Climax System Hub, for those seeking an all-in performance solution. As you can see, it's housed in the same exquisite enclosure as next-generation Climax DSM, so benefits from the improved acoustic isolation. It also includes the new improved ADC development, and in terms of connectivity, offers identical inputs as Climax DSM Av variant, including the option to upgrade to surround sound. And of course, we have space optimization. It's compatible with all 3 products and allows customers to hear their music and not their room.
Thanks, Gordon. With these 3 distinct products, there's a high-performance solution that will meet the needs of the most discerning listeners. Gilad, could you please talk us through to whom each of these products will appeal?
Next generation Climax DSM completes a new family lineup of streamers for Linn. So we have Climax DSM, Select DSM, and Magic DSM. But with Climax DSM's stunning performance and aesthetic, it's clear that it sits at the very top of the range. The 2 variants of Climax DSM simply provide choice and application. The audio variant is for the music lover who purely wants to have audio sources connected to their Climax DSM. And the audio-video variant is for music lovers who also want to get the very best from their movie sources too. The Climax System Hub is the perfect partner for someone who wants a full Linn system, either with Climax ExactBox or with Climax 350 speakers, both of which can have the organic DAC right away for a sound that's out of this world.
Thanks very much, Gilad. Finally, I'm sure you're all wondering, with so much investment and innovation going into new Climax DSM, what does it cost? Gilad?
Well, the price, not surprisingly, is a bit higher than the previous model. Next generation Climax DSM, both variants, will retail in the UK for £30,000, including VAT, and the Climax System Hub for £15,000 in the UK, including VAT. So for local currencies, please speak to your specialist Linn retailer.
Thanks ever so much, Gilad. So, Climax DSM, a product adding value to your lives with its incredible sound. Would you mind now summarising a couple of the key takeaways for us, please, Gilad?
We've heard from Gordon about the differences between the new variants of Climax DSM and the amazing new feature set. Phil talked us through the technology and innovation behind Organic DAC, the beating heart of new Climax DSM. And Adrian told us all about the exquisite new precision machined casework, providing a new level of visual and tactile luxury. It's the combination of these that make Climax DSM the closest you'll get to streaming audio perfection.
Thank you so much for your time, your attention, and for tuning in to join us here at Linn HQ. Please do not hesitate to reach out to your local Linn specialist to arrange a session to hear this fantastic new product. Now, I'd love to hand over to Gilad for some parting words.
You've journeyed through our factory and met our team and seen what it's taken to make this amazing new Climax DSM. We sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this insight into our no-holds-barred approach and how everything that we do can lead us to taking such a big step forward and create a benchmark new hi-fi product. I cannot put into words how proud I am to present new Climax DSM to you today. Everything we do is to bring you closer to the music that you love. We are driven by that passion, and Climax DSM is the embodiment of that. Thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.